people from Manila, they think they're always superior. For example, people from Manila rally against martial law in Mindanao, while in fact, people in Mindanao are enjoying martial law. So why the hell do you have to speak for us?
Hi, my name is Colin. I was born and raised here in Manila, specifically in the Quezon City area.
Hi, I'm Eric John Guillermo Aguilar. You guys can call me Rick. I was born and raised in the humble town of Malaybalay City, Bukidnon. I've seen prejudices against Bisaya people when you watch TV.
There's rarely anyone who plays the main role ng Bisaya. They always have to be the comic relief for some odd reason.
Yung Bisaya, they always play the role of a second-class citizen. A lot of people think that Bisaya are inferior.
Basta maririnig mo and then they automatically think that this person is of a lesser degree or of a lower class, parang ganun.
We're not as good as people from Manila, and I think that's wrong because we have so much to offer. After you.
Okay, hi, I'm Colin.
Eric.
Hi, nice to meet you, Eric.
Nice to meet you.
Wala naman akong major assumptions. Number one, I don't personally think, but na-mention a lot of times during my early college, mahirap kausap. Like, ang hirap, they can't decide. Kunyari, simpleng, saan tayo kakain? Parang there's no quick answer. But again, that's like, they came from this place and then they moved here. So, malakas uminom. Like, super. I don't think I've met any Manileño who can drink as much as... Ayun nga, so like I've mentioned earlier, they're always the comic relief. A lot of, parang default nila that they have to be the funny guy. Ayun nga, second class, may sinasabi about them that's not always good. Honestly, from a personal experience, they make really good friends. Like really good friends.
First, people from Manila, they think they're always superior compared to us. Second, I don't know why, but I've noticed that food here in Manila tastes sweet. Kasi back home, sweet is sweet, sour is sour, savory is savory. Yeah. Third, societal stuff. I really don't want to talk about politics, but I hate how a lot of Tagalogs or people from Manila do not put their trust on our president. Take a look at the big picture. Parang every time we have a new president, there's always someone who's against them. Pero ngayon, knowing na taga Davao yung president, it's more amplified, if you will. Mm-hmm. I don't know, kasi nga Bisaya. People who have to represent the Philippines internationally have to come from Manila. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of promising people outside Manila. The people from Visayas and Mindanao don't get as much support as Imperial Manila. And lastly, I don't know, Manileños think they're know-it-alls. So, ayun. 5 stuff.
Okay, cheers muna.
Cheers.
Cheers to Eric.
Never have I ever been to a new place and immediately wanted to come back home.
Ikaw, shot ka.
Yeah. Really? You've never felt that way?
Ako, siguro nasa upbringing ko na yun, you know, having shifted households a couple of times and palaging may sense of adventure out there. So, it's just a matter of the perspective.
Dun kasi sa place ko, Malaybalay City is called the city within the forest. So it's like really peaceful and clean there. And when you wake up, you hear the birds chirp. It's just like a really good place to live in. When I started living here, the first 2 weeks of my life was like really hell. Grabe yung pollution. I couldn't breathe the same air that I was breathing back home. So, here's to that. Never have I ever judged a person based on which school he graduated from.
Kasama ba high school? Fine, de joke lang. Sige. Shut down, buiset. Hindi naman masama yung ano ko eh, yung judgment ko eh. Siyempre din, defend yung sarili. Joke lang, I'm not gonna defend myself. Never have I ever talked bad about the person because of their ethnicity. Shashot ka.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was young back then. I didn't know better. And I regret it. If Manileños think yung mga Bisaya ay mga katulong, yung mga Bisaya naman, may mga katulong din sila. I mean, like, they can afford house helps, right? But yung mga house help naman nila,
Local?
yeah, local, from our place, a lot of people think na yung mga katulong namin is like from the mountains. And it's true. And I judged my katulong before because she had this ethnic background and we picked her up in the mountains. I judged her based on her accent. I judged her based on her skin color. I judged her based on the clothes she wore. Now that I'm here, parang na-realize ko, those are the same stigmas that we often hear from Manileños to Bisaya. But I totally regret that, and I learned a lot from her. So I totally take those things back because you should never ever judge a person based on ethnicity. One of the best ways to get to know a person is knowing his past, right? So let's pick the oldest one then.
Oh Lord. Oh my God.
May 26, 2013. I got bored, so I tried drawing my sis out of memory.
Okay. During that time, parang I felt walang nangyayari sa buhay ko. So I was just doing random things every day. Because I was parang reeling through a breakup. During that time, parang hindi pa ako fully okay. So, and best friend ko during that time was my sister. In the same respect,
I mean,
gusto ko kasi for a long time, I've always been dreaming of heading to El Nido. So what's the story behind this one?
lahat good memories. Kasi I went to El Nido, Palawan with a friend of mine. And so when we met here in Manila, we promised each other na we're gonna go on a trip. Just the two of us, Bisaya. Kasi he also had a lot of friends dito sa Manila, but he couldn't really go out with a friend he met here in Manila because it's not gonna be the same with a provincial friend.
Question, so parang may ganong sentiment, if you're gonna go on an adventure for the first time, would you like kayong mga Bisaya to be like kayo-kayo lang muna?
Iba kasi pag you go out on an adventure with someone who speaks the same language.
Okay.
Ako Bisaya. And if I have to communicate with a Tagalog without sounding konyo, I have to translate Bisaya to English to Tagalog, which takes a lot of time. It was a hard photo to take kasi yung
Na-curious ako kanina, you mentioned Imperial Manila. It's just something that I rarely encounter, and usually it's coming from non-Manileños. It's not imperial as it looks. People here already have trouble looking for opportunities. Like the expansion is slow, the rise of opportunities is slow. People look towards abroad. Where does Imperial Manila come from?
I'm speaking for myself and not for everybody else who has their own concept of Imperial Manila. We say Imperial Manila. I say Imperial Manila is because I've observed that most of the decisions that are made for the entire country are based on the voices of the Manileños.
Like, can you give an example of that you felt in your hometown? Sa hometown mo na yun, way down south, and somebody up there in Manila called the shots and umabot sa inyo. And it didn't feel like it's a Bisaya thing.
Based on politics, I can say that a lot of people who are politicians or are influential in national politics come from Manila. When it comes to the voice of the people, it's usually the voices of the people from Manila that are being heard, that are being televised. For example, people from Manila rally against martial law in Mindanao. While in fact, people in Mindanao are enjoying martial law because we feel safer about martial law. So why the hell do you have to speak for us? That's one concept of the concept of Imperial Manila.
In this conversation, we interchangeably use Filipino and Tagalog. So the idea of having a national language, does it even exist or does it not? And its history, back when it was first enacted into law by Manuel L. Quezon. The rest of the Filipinos felt that hindi inclusive yung move na yun. And until now, we still carry that same kind of thrust. How do you feel about our national language being Filipino and Tagalog?
I mean, having a national language is just being known for having a national language, I would think. I mean, sa China, they have like Fukien, Mandarin, and we have Tagalog dialects, which are like, nagva-vary din.
Yeah, depende sa region.
Depends sa region. It should help us become one as a nation instead of like dividing us. Bakit Filipino yung yung national language, parang mainly Tagalog lang naman yan. And everybody can understand Filipino or Tagalog. Ginagamit TV, media, everywhere. We could understand it. So I think having a national language means bringing all the people together based on a common language that everybody could understand. But here's the thing, if people from other regions, aside from like outside Manila, try to speak in Filipino, I don't think they have to be. Ayokong nasi-shame kami for trying to speak in Filipino kasi nga we have the right to try kasi nga national language namin natin, even if we have some sort of accent. I think it would build so much confidence na gamitin yung Filipino if we don't feel embarrassed about it.
Okay.
Kasi saka lang naman kami na-embarrass if nagtatanong yung mga tao, ba't may accent ka? Tagasan ka ba?
Yeah. Because of that, like, di ba nga kasi uso yung Bisaya as the mate? Because yun nga, the opportunity is here. Even for people na hindi masyado nakapag-aral. And that strikes the stigma, kasi in my opinion, of what a Bisaya is. Do you feel that there is a stride in the community or in the Manila space to abolish that kind of mentality? Or do you still feel like day-to-day na parang it just gets worse? That people think that the Bisayas are second class or that they just came here because nandito yung opportunity.
I could still feel it. I mean, those prejudices, I could still feel it.
Have you ever encountered a person who shot you down completely?
Well, no, because during job interviews, last ko na sinasabi yung pagka-Bisaya ko. I just do my best speaking in English and just like wow them.
Pero do you think that if you merong, what do you call this, Bisaya, that would take the place of the interviewer, would you feel so much better?
I would feel so much better. May parang regional acceptance, if you will, if that's even a thing. Pero when you talk to someone Bisaya, parang kausap mo yung kabaro mo or kadugo mo. That level of comfort talking to a fellow Bisaya is like incomparable to talking to anyone else who speaks a different kind of language. During job interviews, I have this sort of I'm still being myself, okay? But of course, I have to put some sort of facade to meet their expectations.
That them knowing na Bisaya ka would mean that to them that inefficient ka?
Because it is indeed a stigma that I've known growing up, yes. Unfortunately. And it has to stop because I am Bisaya and I am very productive sa trabaho ko.
Yeah, you're just a person.
I'm just a person.
You're just a person. You're
I
not.
know.
It should not be like that, right? I feel for you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to go through these kinds of experiences.
You don't have to apologize, but thank you though. But my question for you is, for a Bisaya like me, what can you do as a Manileño to like help us feel comfortable in using the Filipino language and just feel like we can get along with each other despite the language barrier?
Like what you said earlier, celebrating the culture. Like growing up in the university, it was always fun for me to learn from my friends who are non-Manileños, who are not from the NCR, who just came to study here. You know, bits and pieces of the language, what they eat, what they celebrate during this time, why they're pining to go home this weekend or that coming weekend. I don't know if I'm doing a kind of service to the Bisayas or what, but I feel like that's like the best way to approach it. In that same respect, parang it's the little things that would make you feel comfortable. Talking about more in depth dun sa mga plight nyo and dun sa mga nararamdaman nyo here in Manila, I can't speak for my mga kapwang Manileños, but hopefully when this video goes out, I get to say yun nga, like our discussion earlier, we're just people. We're after the same thing.
I think for people who live outside from Manila, who try to move into Manila, nobody deserves to feel like an outsider. Pero we live in the same territory, we live in the same nation, we live in the same country. It's just that we come from different roots. And just understanding that we come from different roots, I think something very basic that we should all understand.
I've always played the I don't want to talk about it role. Kasi nga, to me, it always felt divisive. But the fact that you ignore it also means that you're ignoring their suffering, their plight.
Through this interaction, I also learned that hindi lang pala yung Manileños yung may certain stereotypes. Because ako bilang Bisaya, may stereotype din ako para sa Manileño na si Colin.
That's probably the fatal flaw ng Manileño. To us, parang wala lang. May karamihan sa atin parang wala lang.
Today I met a friend. I made a friend. I hope Colin considers me a friend too.
You know, when I make new friends, like how I made a friend out of Eric, hindi ko accidentally madi-discount yung fact that they're actually struggling here.
And that's because we had a thorough conversation.
Doesn't mean that you're from Manila means that you're the perfect Filipino.
No matter what language or dialect you speak, just go ahead and talk.